This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let's start with grid today. So what is grid and what is the use of it? Okay, so grid, when we should use grid or what is the use? As I told you, therefore, grid is the fourth component of Selenium, right? We told you Selenium ID, then Selenium RC, then WebDriver, and then the finally is grid. So as I told you earlier also, grid is, though it's considered a separate component, but actually, if you see, you can't run independently grid. Okay, like if you need to know ID, you can start working on ID. If you need to know RC, if you want to work on RC, you can start only work on RC. You don't need, anything ID or WebDriver. If you want to start working on WebDriver, you can start working on WebDriver. Okay, you don't need to know ID or RC. But if you want to work on the grid, you can't work on the grid directly. For that, you need the coding concept of WebDriver or RC. Any one you have to use. So when RC was there, people used to use grid with RC. That people used to call it grid 1. Now people are using grid with WebDriver, so we are calling it grid 2. Now what is grid basically? Grid is nothing but, for example, you have test cases, say 100 test cases. Now what you wanted to do? You wanted to run your different test cases in different browser. For example, out of 100 test cases, okay, out of 100 test cases, what you want to do? You want to run, say, 50 test cases in Chrome. You want to run 30 test cases in Firefox. You want to run 20 test cases in IE. That you can do with the help of grid. Okay, basically you can divide your test cases accordingly and you can run it on different browser. 50 in Firefox, 30 in Chrome, 20 in IE. Also, what you can do, for example, you have multiple machine. One is Windows 10 machine. One is a Windows 7 machine. Okay, and one is a Mac machine. You can say these 50 test cases, I want to run it on Windows 10 machine, Chrome browser. These 30 test cases, I want to run it on Mac machine, Mac machine, Firefox browser. And these 20 test cases, I need to run it on Windows 7 machine, IE browser. That also you can do with the help of grid. Also, you can say, I want to run all these test cases one by one, or I want to run all the test cases parallel if it is independent. So all these things can be controlled by grid. This is what is grid. Okay, so before we start with the grid, we need to know the structure of the grid. We need to know the architecture. Here the grid architecture is important. If you are aware of the grid architecture, then you can play around with that. Okay, you can play around with this. So let's see the structure and architecture of the grid, then we'll be doing the other stuff. Now, to understand the grid architecture, let's open MS Paint. Okay, so yeah. Can you guys hear me clearly? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay. So to work on the grid, you need to basic architecture of the grid. There is the grid. There will be something called server in the grid. So we did server in the grid. We call it in the grid hub. Grid hub. Basically the grid server. Okay, we don't use the word server, we use the word hub in the grid. So hub, you should be starting grid hub first. Now when but if we connect to any server, we need to connect via some port number, right? Any server. So in your machine, if you open say facebook.com, open, you take the Amazon, Google, or Facebook via some without
Abhishek, your voice is breaking a lot.
okay. Okay. And now it's clear.
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay. So what I'm saying, in the grid, you need some hub. So if you want to run to any server or anything, you need to connect via some port number. Okay. So like if you are accessing Amazon.com, Facebook.com in your machine, your machine is connecting via some port number to those server from your machine. Okay. So in the grid also, you need to mention some port number through which you need to connect to this hub. Okay, so you can mention any port number, any 4-digit number. If you don't mention, by default it will take 4444 port number. Okay, in the grid hub. Now this is a grid hub. So for example, just think about it, it is my machine. Okay, it is my machine. Hub is nothing but some machine either you need to connect. Now I need to run my scripts in different machines. So those are called server, or in the grid we use the word called node. Okay, we use the word called node. So wherever I want to run, these are the different nodes. This is one node, this is one node, this is one node. 3 nodes are there here. Node is nothing but a different machine. For example, these 3, one is Ankit's machine, one is Ridhi's machine, and one is Satish machine. That's it. These are called node. Okay, I want to trigger the run on those system. Okay, from my machine. So think about it. This machine is having Windows 10 maybe. This machine is nothing but Mac machine. This machine is nothing but Windows 7 machine. These are the 3 nodes. Okay, these are the 3 nodes. I need to connect to those machines, from my server, or these node machines need to connect to the server. I can give a run on different nodes. So see this, say hub is running an 4444 port. So like this, there will be different ports available in your system, right? If you need to connect to any outside world, any server or any machine, everything should get connected via some port number. Now, Windows 7 machine, this machine need to connect to my machine via some port number. So you need to select some port. 4444 you can't use because that is already used by hub. Hub is already running inside this port. Windows 10 machine, for example, this machine, if I need to connect to my system, I have to connect via some port. Yeah, now it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to connect via some port number. So these are different nodes. These are called node. Okay. For example, this is node 1. This is node 2. This is node 3. So node is nothing but actually a different machine. Now all these node need to connect to the connect to the hub. So how to connect to the hub? Again, you have to connect via some port number. So this 4444 port you can't use this node because this is used by this server. So you have to connect to a different port. For example, I am connecting to this port. This port number is any 4-digit port number. 45, maybe 45. Same way, this machine also need to connect to the hub. Again, he can't use 4545 because already this guy is using it, node 1. He can't use 4444 also because the server is using. So you need to connect via some different port. Maybe 7777. Same way, this machine also need to connect to via some other port. Maybe 6666. So in the one port you cannot connect two system. Through one port you cannot connect multiple machines or multiple servers. Port is like a plug point. Port is like a plug point. Okay, so in the same point you can't put multiple plugs, right? So here is also the same case. In the same port you can't connect via same port you can't connect multiple server. Okay, once one port is used by one server you can't use for another server at the same time. Okay, so this is the structure. So first there should be some hub where all your scripts, everything will be there. Next there will be different node machine. Okay, node machine is nothing but different machine where you wanted to run your script. All these machine need to connect to that hub via some port number. Okay, you have to use different port number. So just consider the node is nothing but different machine. For example, this is Satish machine, this is Ankit's machine, this is Ridhi's machine. Okay, this is the concept of hub and node. Now if I trigger a run on Firefox on say node 1, it is not going to run simply. Before that you have to open some browser instances in that machine. Okay, you have to open some browser instances in that machine, otherwise it is not going to run. Right now no browser is available in this machine. Available means I mean to say that browser might have installed. Okay, but you have to open some instances and you have to tell key in this port these are the instances available to run via grid. Okay, that you can specify. For example, in this machine I need to specify some browser. I can specify, okay, I need to open two Firefox instance, okay, or session maybe you can say. In the Mac I can say open 3 Firefox instance. In Windows 7 I can say open one Firefox instance, one Firefox session. Now if you give a run on Firefox you can run it in these machines. Same way I can specify in this machine I want to open 4 Chrome instance. In this machine I want to open say 2 Chrome instance or 3 Chrome instance. In this machine I want to open 2 Chrome instance. Same way I can say in this machine, okay, in this machine open 2 IE instance. In this you can't open any IE. In this machine open 4 IE instance. So you have to specify how many browser instances you want to open in which machine. Okay, if you don't specify, you cannot run your scripts on that browser. Okay, now you can trigger a run on these three browsers. See, browser is installed on that machine, that doesn't mean it can automatically pick up. You have to create some instances, some session. You can define the number of sessions and you can register it with the grid so that hub can use those instances. We'll see all these things. Clear? Now, the thing is, for example, I want to run all my scripts. I have 100 test cases. Okay, just think about it. I have 100 test cases. I want to run all the 100 test cases in Windows 10 on Firefox. Okay, on Firefox. So what it is going to do? It is going to run one by one test cases in Firefox. Okay, one test case will run, then again another test case will run. Now the thing is, I am giving a parallel run of all the 100 test cases in Windows 10 machine. This machine. If I give a parallel run 100 test cases in Firefox, it cannot run more than 2 test cases because there are only 2 instances available in the Firefox. So 2 test cases will pick up, 1 and 2. The remaining test case will be waiting in the queue. Once the second test case or first test case, any one is done, for example, second is done, so immediately third one will be picked up because there are only 2 instances available. I can't run more than 2. Got it? Again, now 1, 3 are running, and whatever is done first, say 1 is done first, then fourth one will be picked up. So at a time, it cannot run more than 2 because there are only 2 Firefox instances available in it. Same way, if I run here, it can run maximum 3 test cases. Here it can run only 1. So it doesn't make sense if you say parallel or serial because there are only 1 instance available. Clear? So these are the different instances of the Firefox. Okay, or Chrome or IE. Clear? What is browser instance? So if you don't open any instance, you cannot run your script. Now you can give a run. One more thing is, here you can tell your scripts run it on Chrome. And you can say any platform. If you say any platform, it might randomly pick up any one of the machine out of these 3. You can't control it. If you write any platform, Windows 10, Windows 7, Mac, randomly it is going to pick up any one of the Chrome instance. So here there are 4, here there are 3, 4 plus 3, 7, plus 2, 9. Total 9 Chrome instances are available. So if you run 100 test cases, parallelly it will pick up 9 from 3 different nodes. If you run only one test case and you say run it on any node, so it might pick up from node 1, from node 2, node 3. You can't control. Okay, you can't specify from which node you wanted to run. That's how they designed it. If all are having the same operating system, you can't decide. Now, for example, here I have Windows 10. I have 2 IE instance. Here also, for example, I have Windows 10. I have 4 IE instance. But here my IE version is IE8. Here my IE version is IE11. I want to, both are Windows 10, right? I want to run it on IE11. How you can manage it? You can't specify run it on this version. You can only say run it on on Windows 10. So it might pick up node 1 or node 3. But I want to run it on IE11 only. I want to certify out IE11. How to do it? You can't control. In such case, what we will do? We will not open any IE instance here. We will not open any IE instance here. We will open the IE instance only in this machine. So in my scripts, when I tell my scripts, boss run it only on IE. For him, there will be no other option, but he need to run only here. He can run only Windows 10. Clear? He can run the scripts only in 10 because IE is available only in Windows 10 machine, where is IE11 is there. This is the way we can control to run it in different node. Clear? Now, so this is the case. So we know how to control the instances, how to control different browser, how to control the instances of the browser and all. Now think about it. Again, one more scenario. Think about this 100 test cases. See, I am giving run it on Mac machine. Say I want to say run 50 test cases on Chrome and 50 on Firefox. So out of 50, 3 will run it on Firefox, 3 will run it on Chrome because there are three instances available. And I give a serial run. So what will happen in case of serial run? In case of serial run, 6 browser at a time will open, right? 3 IE, 3 Chrome. Agree? But in a single node, I don't want to open all the 6 browser. If 6 browser opens, that might be an issue. Your machine might get slow and all. So what I want to restrict. I can say, boss, don't open more than say 3 browser. Okay, don't open more than 3 browser. That you can control with the help of a parameter called maximum session. So you can specify maximum number of session in a particular node. So there are two things. One is maximum instance. One is maximum session. So maximum instance is specific to a browser. How many browser instances I want to open for each browser? Okay. And maximum session is specific to a node. How many maximum session I wanted to open? Okay. So in the interview, this is an important question. Normally, you will get what is the difference between maximum instance and maximum session? Okay. What is the difference between maximum instance and maximum session? So maximum instance is maximum number of instances. Okay. You can specify for each browser, and maximum session is in each node how many maximum browser at a time can open. For example, here if I give that 50 test cases run, it can open at a time 6. I don't want to open 6. I can restrict maximum session as 3. If I mention maximum session as 3, now it will open 3 browser. Now any 3. Which 3 you cannot control. It might open sometimes 3 Chrome. It might open sometimes 3 Firefox. It might open, 1 Firefox, 2 Chrome. It might open 2 Firefox, 1 Chrome. Any 3 it is going to open, but not more than 3. So remaining scripts will be waiting. Out of these 3, once 1 is done, next thing will pick up. Like this it will go. This is maximum session. Okay. So maximum session, maximum instance, node, and all this stuff we talk. All port, how to connect via port and all. Okay. Now we have to do it. First we have to do this setup, then only we can run the grid. So clear this structure. If it is not clear, you can't play around with grid.
The maximum instance, can you tell me one more time? Just lost it.
Maximum instance is basically nothing but the number of instances you want to open, or number of instance. For example, you have all the browser, right? You have 5 browser in your system: IE, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Opera. If you have installed on your system, it doesn't mean that you can run your script on those browser via grid. So you have to register some browser with the grid. So you can say whatever the browser is installed, that is fine, but I want to register with the grid, okay, IE and Chrome. But you have to specify how many instances you want to open. You can say I want to open 3 IE instance. I want to open 2 Chrome instance. Okay, you want to register this.
Okay.
Okay, so accordingly you can register from this machine. You can register.
Okay.
Okay, 3 IE instance, 2 Chrome instance to the hub. So when hub runs, he can use this 2 Chrome instance. He can use this 3 IE instance. So if you run 5 test cases in the Chrome parallelly, he cannot run more than 2, right?
Yeah.
You have only 2 instances. Same if you run 5 test cases in IE, he cannot open more than 3 because there are 3 IE instances. So at a time he can run 5, 3 plus 2. Correct?
Yeah.
Now this is called maximum instances. Now again, 5 test case if you run, it will open 5 browser. That also you don't want to do. You told it's fine. I have mentioned 5 IE instance, 3 IE instance, 2 Chrome instance. I don't want to run more than 3 in a particular machine, in a particular node. So that you can specify maximum session equals to 3. It cannot run more than 3. Which 3 that you can't control? It might be 2 Chrome, 1 IE, 2 IE, 1 Chrome, or 3 IE. Any 3 it will pick up. Once one script is done, it will pick up the next script.
Okay. Why can't in the maximum instance only, if I wanted to run 3 maximum session, I would rather instruct there itself, right? IE1 and Chrome 2. Why I have to have a different one? Maximum
That also you
session.
can do. I am not saying you can't do that. Okay, but in that case you are restricting, right? IE3. For example, you have 50 test case you want to run it on IE and 50 in Chrome. So what you will do? You will create, say, 2 IE instance and 1 Chrome instance. That's what you are saying, right?
Yeah.
So from first 50, it will pick up 2 scripts, and from here it will pick up 1 scripts in Chrome. Correct?
Yeah.
So after running 2 scripts, for example, your 50 scripts are done, and here you have executed, say, 20 scripts. The remaining scripts it will run it on Chrome, right? But
Yeah.
only 1 instance is available, so it cannot run more than 1. So it is
Okay.
going to take time, right? 1 by 1 it need to run.
Yeah.
So instead of that, maybe what I wanted to do, I will tell, okay, open maybe 3 IE instance, open maybe 3 Chrome instance. So let them run. This 50 will run it on IE. So this 50 will run it on Chrome. Okay. So I mentioned maximum instance 3. So any 3 it can do. Sometimes it will pick up 3 Chrome. Sometimes it will pick up 3 IE. Sometimes it will pick up 2 IE, 1 Chrome. Sometimes 2 Chrome, 1 IE. So for example, IE is done and Chrome did only 20. So once IE is done, then all the session can be used by Chrome, right? Because IE is done. So next time it can pick up three scripts at a time.
Okay, got it,
So it will be
Abhishek.
more faster. Okay, it will be more faster. So this is what is grid structure and grid architecture. If you know this, if you are aware of this, you can now play around with grid. So basically what we have to do, now we have to proceed with our coding. We have to basically create all these things. We have to create hub, we have to create node, okay? We have to create the browser instance, then we have to mention the maximum session, maximum instance and all this stuff. And we will play around with it. Once we are done with those things, structure, architecture and how to play around with this, then we will go to the coding part. Now here I told you different machines and all this stuff. How can I show it to you? All the machines should be same length. So how I am going to do it? Node 1, node 2, node 3. The thing is here, all these nodes I am connecting via with this port. So you are connecting your laptop charger into some plug point. Okay. So that actually really doesn't make sense as soon as you are getting the power. Whether that other side of the wire is connected to the main switch of your machine or the common area main switch or in some others. Right? As soon as you are getting the power, you are fine. Your laptop is not bothered about it. Whether he is getting the power, he knows for charging, he need to connect to this port. But other side of the wire of the port is connected to your main switch or someone else main switch, he is not bothered about it. As soon as he is getting power, he is fine. So here is also the same thing. I'll tell my hub, connect to this port via this port number, connect to this node 1. Now, so he will connect to this and this node also will connect to this. Now, whether this node is in different machine or same machine, he is not bothered about it. So in my machine only, I will open a hub in 4444 port. I'll open a node in my machine only. I'll tell you connect to 4545 port. You run this node on 4545 port and you connect to the hub 4444 port, which is running on 4444. Okay, so I'll just mention port number. Other side of the port is connected to the same machine or different machine, it doesn't make sense. Okay, like you are developing some software, you have to install the database. You are installing the, say, Ms Sql database. Now, how to connect to the Ms Sql database? So you have to mention the server name and port number. Now, sometimes you can see developers are putting DB and application in the same machine. Sometimes developer puts the developer create a separate machine itself for data Ms Sql installing database. No, connection is same, only thing difference is they need to mention the IP address of that machine and the port number. Can be same or it can be different. So here is also the concept is same. Okay, if database is huge, people are putting it in a separate DB. Okay, that's the structure. Now we have to go with that structure. Now how to run hub and node. So till now it's clear. Any question on this architecture structure? No question? Okay. You guys can hear me, right? Clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So